I'm presenting an example of a project kit that can that is produced for eTwinning and can be applied in an eTwinning project in sort of straight away. And you can find the actual kit with its contents. You can find it already in the TwinSpace in the materials. But I just shortly would like to lead to what this is about, and of course this is always, as in project-based learning and collaborative learning, it's the age thing. It can be scaled so that it can be scaled down for a bit younger students, but it can be also scaled up for older students. But I think this is not too difficult. Always when you work with students who don't work using their own native language, you have to think that it can't be very demanding from the language point of view or the theoretical point of view. I also had some facts from statistics for the bottom. They are not as new as Suvi statistics, but they just show about Finnish people and about people reading newspapers regularly. And you can see that if you compare in older generations, older people, there are not very many changes from 1991 to 2017. But if you look at the younger generations, you can see that reading newspapers is going very much down in the younger age group. So young people don't read newspapers anymore. Perhaps they are not even, they don't get them at home anymore so often, these actual papers. And even the youths, you can see that it's going down. So reading newspapers is going down, and especially in the younger generations, that you can see there. Then just a quick look at the popular social media. So YouTube is the most popular one. So 95% of youth say they use YouTube. 72 Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So this is about use teens in United States, but I think this is pretty much the same in Finland. So YouTube is very popular. They both listen to music, watch videos, and listen to vloggers and these idols and so on, which we talked about before. But you can see this would be very much different if you asked from older age groups. This is about teens. And this is a third one where you can see that how mobile devices, from laptops to mobile devices. So you can see that that mobile devices are in every European country. They are becoming more and more popular, and everybody, especially youth, use mobile devices in to find information and to access internet in different ways. So today's generation, we're talking about the mobile generation, and that's why uh, all the newspapers, all the media sort of is made easy to access through mobile phones and things like that. But that's just a background of what we're looking at these days. So it's not a newspaper world anymore. It is a world of um, mobile new devices and news and so on. However, um, there have been investigations about reading the news and learning, and that investigations showed that those who are more passive, uh, according to this study, there is an about a year's difference in mastering the goals set in school curriculum uh, between those who read news and those who don't. So reading news um, uh, sort of develops your cognitive capabilities in general. So reading the news is good for media literacy. So it's not just, as Suvi said, it's not just browsing through the contents. If you actually read something, if you read the news, that will develop your media literacy. So reading news is and getting interested in news, reading news is good for your cognitive capabilities. Then eTwinning. And eTwinning is, of course, if this is the background for, we would like to see students use their mobile devices and internet. We don't want them to go back to reading newspapers, but to use their mobile devices to read more news, to get interested in news, different kinds of news. So how can we do it in eTwinning? And in eTwinning, the thing that makes a difference is authenticity. And authenticity in eTwinning projects, in eTwinning collaboration means that there are real people to meet. So the students meet actually real students from different countries, real people they don't know from before. They will learn to know new people from different countries. Uh, they they study and explore real world issues, something that exists actually in the world, nothing textbook stuff. So it is something they actually themselves study in their surroundings. And in eTwinning, if they solve problems, they solve real problems. So it is authentic learning at its best. And when you meet real people, when you study real world, when you solve real problems, the relevance of learning, the motivation of learning, and the engagement in learning develop hugely. And I myself have seen this many times in my projects. So if we are in a real world and not in the hypothetical textbook world, the motivation, relevance, engagement are there and grow and make the learning much more effective. So when you start a project like this one now, which is about media literacy, and its name is, I read the news today, oh boy. You first think of setting project objectives and guidelines and what we want to develop in this project, and those will have to be in the curriculum, in the in the school curriculum. So you find the key competencies you want to develop and define them from your school curriculum. And in this case, they would be multiliteracy, cooperation and communication skills, intercultural communication, and ICT skills. These are also the future skills. We talked about the 21st century skills that need to be developed at school. Then there are the pedagogical objectives. So developing skills in media literacy and media criticism, understanding the impact of culture and context on media content, and development of reading comprehension, which is some kind of a challenge these days for students as well. And then we decide which subject areas there might be. There might be mother tongue, foreign language, social studies, and of course cultural studies, and whatever you think of in your context of vocational education and training. And then to target group, you must think of the age of the students and their background skills, their communication skills, language, foreign language skills, and so on. So those are the things you have to think of, and then those are the things that will develop during the project. In eTwinning, you always start with learning to know each other. So as even today in the small groups, when we did the 10 minutes group work, the first thing was to say who you are and where you come from, and what you do and what you like and what you are interested in, and so on. So that's where the project always starts. And this is where trust is created, the trust between the partners, the trust between the students, and the trust, of course, between the teachers who lead the project, facilitate the project. Then there is the orientation to the topic. And in this case, for example, if you talk about it, if it's about the news, the orientation could be the same kind of Menti questionnaire or other questionnaire or brainstorming, which we did today. So this is the idea, is that make students who don't think about news, who don't care about news, who never bother about news, think about news, presenting them questions or alternatives where to choose. They can choose, I never read news, or I'm not interested in any news. Oh, but there is someone who's interested in sports news, and so on. They might find something that interests them. And this is the orientation, to get them a little bit of interested. And then here, of course, you can also then find that the students compare the results from students from different countries. The idea of this project is that the students then decide which topic. Was it sports or politics or COVID or international politics or disasters or catastrophes or whatever is their topic. They all the students find on one special day, they find pieces, items of news dealing with that area, topic area. So for example, what is the top news in sports on that day? And or 3 top items of news on that day. And then they bring them their findings together and they compare. So in the wintertime, for example, in Finland, the top sport news would be ice hockey and maybe skiing or ski jumping. in Greece, probably not. Probably something else, but but there might be also um, some same interests and same sports that find the way in the top categories. So, but this is the idea of because we have this idea that when we look at the newspapers, when we look at their contents, this is the truth, and this is the sort of this is the truth about the world. And when you compare the news from different countries, top news, and you can see that how can the truth be different in Poland and in Moldova and in Greece and in Finland. So you can see that actually, and this is that creates the idea that maybe we live in a bubble here in Finland, for example, and and that bubble should be critically sort of studied when comparing with different countries. And maybe students create this table of their findings, or perhaps a mind map of their findings of different topics and so on, and that would be the project, and that would be start for studying news media critically, not very seriously, not going to a theory or to a university level, but just a start to interest them with this topic. The end products, they can be what I said about mind map, but they can make posters or comics or infographics or web magazines. Even if they decide, if they're interested, they can create their own news, and they can make web magazines of their own news and so on. So this kind of project can evolve into very interesting way of working together. And of course, at the end, there is this evaluation process. I hope you always remember that in eTwinning, it is not so easy to forget that learning is a process, that it starts from orientation and finding information, and then comparing information and discussing the information, and then creating building information and creating end products that can be videos or presentations or whatever. So this is the idea of, and then of course a million ways of how to follow up. So follow up activities, you can create a shared online newspaper, you can study fake news phenomenon, uh, you can discuss what will happen to press in the future, and so on. So quite a lot of ideas how you can go on with this project. But the beginning is very simple. Choose one day, find top news in different categories and compare them, which are top news in different countries. So a simple eTwinning project, but the sort of containing the whole process, learning process like that. And you, I think this has been already downloaded in my presentation has been downloaded in the TwinSpace, and also the project kit is there for you to see and use as you like.